Most people, I'm not going to say everyone, and everyone structures their business differently, but definitely we have noticed, at least for ours, definitely, everything matters. So, you have to have the good articles, you have to have a good website. Yeah, you have to have all those things. But at the end of the day, you got to call people and let them know, even if you sent them an email, hey, did you receive that email? I have an opportunity now. I don't know if it's going to last. We are getting reserves coming in. And just that simple call.
Welcome to the How to Scale Commercial Real Estate Show. Whether you are an active or passive investor, we'll teach you how to scale your real estate investing business into something big.
Ariel Diaz is an investor himself that creates opportunities that he shares with his clients so everyone can participate in high-quality assets that outperform the overall market. Ariel, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
Hey, there's a couple questions I ask, or actually 3 questions I ask every guest who comes on the show, Ariel, in 90 seconds or less. Can you tell me, where did you start? Where are you now? And how did you get there?
Sure. Well, I started 20 years ago as a real estate broker. I assisted people to buy and sell residential properties, and that led me into a property management career. And about 15 years later, I started my own commercial real estate brokerage with my wife. And I ventured into commercial real estate, really enjoyed that. I ended up buying multifamily properties. And then little by little, we scaled. And by actually looking for better opportunities, because I'm here in Miami, Florida, we were trying to invest out of state, and we ended up partnering with an operator. I ended up investing in that project, and I brought a couple of my close clients along, and that's how I started actually a fund and investing in other people's projects.
15 years, you say, as a residential broker?
I was 15 years as a residential, well, give or take, yeah. So in 2014, I transitioned into strictly commercial real estate. I had done one multifamily project, and I fell in love with it. That's what I've always really wanted to do. And I said, you know what, I'm never going to do residential again. And I'm just going to do commercial real estate. And then it just went on from there. We did industrial properties, and we got involved in a retail center. And next thing you know, we were just focused on commercial real estate. And when I say we, it's myself and my wife, because she's a commercial real estate broker as well.
That's awesome. Do you ever look back at your story and go, why did it take me so long to get involved in commercial real estate?
All the time.
So what was the light bulb moment? Like when did you go, oh my gosh, this is 100% what we have to be focused on?
I always wanted to do it. The thing is, I was very fortunate. I had a mentor, but he didn't like commercial real estate. And he told me, you're just going to have to get involved with a bunch of attorneys and all these rules, regulations. Just stick with residential. You'll be able to do that. It's a lot easier. And I guess that just goes that you can only grow as much as your mentor allows you to. And he was extremely successful, and no knocking that. At the end of the day, I really feel it just depends on what you want. But one day I just ended up doing it anyways. And then that's when I obviously started my own brokerage, because I said, okay, I'm going to do commercial real estate, let him do residential. And the funny thing is, just this last year, he was calling me for advice on getting into a commercial real estate deal.
That's awesome. That's the way it goes. Now, do you still own and run the commercial brokerage?
Yes. We're still actively running it and operating it here in Miami, Florida.
What have been some of the challenges in growing a brokerage? But it also sounds like, you guys have started a fund and you're investing, a lot in multifamily. So what have been some of the challenges kind of running? I mean, those are two obviously compatible businesses, but very different businesses.
Yeah, they're extremely different. It's basically two monsters. But at the end of the day, running the brokerage has taught me a lot to also run the fund. And it's just about putting systems and processes into place. Now, luckily, again, I do run the brokerage with my wife, so she's had to take on a lot more responsibilities and deal with a lot more of the headaches that I used to be doing. So to allow me to more focus on the funds. But really, what we've been able to do is work with them together. So a lot of our investors that invest in the funds come from past clients from the brokerage. So that's really been able to give us, I guess it's an extra layer of comfort, knowing that we already have people that understand us, know us, have worked with us before, and trust us to get inside something so complicated as an investment fund.
So break down your business for me today on the fund side. Are you guys partnering with other operators? Are you, building the fund and then acquiring and owning and running yourself, or what's the structure there?
Right. So we own and operated our own here in Miami, but as most people know, this is an international city. It got extremely competitive, and to be able to scale, it really got, where the cap rates and the returns weren't really aligned with what we wanted to do with ourselves, with our own investments, and with bringing on partners. So what we started doing was going to other states, really, mainly Arizona, and I could talk to you about that if you want, of why we chose Arizona. But by doing that, we realized, the best way to do this is we're going to just meet up with an operator. Well, we met up with plenty of them, but we figured out that would probably be the best strategy, because to get to know that market as well as someone that actually lives there and operates there, to get to know the property managers, to basically build our team all over again would take so much time, effort, and energy from us. So it was just really fortunate that we were able to find this particular group, and that's when we decided to just partner with them, and we got advantageous, I guess you could say, splits for investing with them and bringing a large sum of money. And then, that's basically how we structured it. And then in order to get those specific splits, we had to bring in a larger amount, and then that's when we got some of our clients involved.
That is really cool. Tell me there's so many ways that funds can be set up. Why did you choose the particular structure of the fund that you have?
Right. So we created what's called a single, and I don't want to get too technical, but it's a single purpose vehicle. And so it was just a particular, in layman terms, it's just an LLC that is just going to invest in this particular project, right? So, but what was good was, let's suppose if we were just going to invest $100,000, we were going to get a 70-30 split. But since I was able to raise money, I said, well, if I bring in at least $1 million, will you give me a preferred rate? And the operator was okay with that, because now he's just dealing with one group that has $1 million instead of 10 different people with $100,000.
Right.
Make sense? Okay. Yeah, so then that's when I got my investors involved, and we were able to raise that $1 million, and we got an 80-20 split, and a couple other advantageous things. If the property performs a little bit better, then we also got, most investors get like a 50-50 split, after a certain return has been reached, and we were able to keep that 80-20 split throughout the entire investment.
Wow. Okay, cool. I love that. One of the challenges that I have found with SPVs is that they add another layer of expense to a deal that maybe, depending on the size of the deal, can almost become cost prohibitive. How have you overcome that?
Yeah, well, that's just networking and getting to know a lot of different attorneys out there, and just being able to feed them business. Then you're able to get a discount. And if they're familiar with that particular operator and they understand, the way that, the SEC regulations and everything that has to deal with, creating this fund of fund, you can typically work out something. Like everyone's running a business, right? So if you're able to offer them something, though they're attorneys, they're able to lower their price because they know that they're going to benefit in the long run. So luckily, I was able to lower the price on this particular deal, promising them more business in the future, and also bringing them business from people that we know.
Right. Talk to me about the capital raise process for you guys. I mean, it's really interesting. Of course, you've got clients on the brokerage side that are looking for active investments. How did you broach that conversation with those clients of yours saying, hey, by the way, I've got an opportunity over here that you could passively invest in?
So it's actually trickier than you think, because they are looking for active investments, and that's the key word. They're typically active investors. So when you try to explain to them how the passive investment side means, which, yes, they're going to get good returns, and typically they're able to diversify into other asset classes, into other markets. This is all great. But yes, as a passive investor, you're not going to be in full control of that property, right? And of that investment. So that's where they typically have a little bit of an issue with. But as they really start diving into it and explaining it to them, not everyone jumps on board, but a good enough amount of people that really understand it and really realize, wait a second, this is actually very beneficial. And I put myself in their shoes because I was an active investor, and I still am. And I believe that you should have a combination. If you feel comfortable being an active investor, you should definitely be an active investor as well. But the way that I saw it was, hey, I'm able to diversify in a new market. I'm able to diversify potentially in other asset classes, not put all my eggs in one basket. Why not test this out, do it? And it was very viable. So as I explained to them what I went through, they kind of feel the same thing, and they're like, okay, so let's go ahead and let's give it a shot. And the good thing is, you could just start off with $50,000, $100,000. So it's not like they're putting in the full $1 million or whatever they're used to putting into an investment. They could test it out with just 50,000, 100,000, 200,000, whatever they feel comfortable with.
Let's talk about that capital raising a little bit more. What's been one thing or one kind of limiting belief maybe that you've had around raising capital, and how did you overcome it?
Well, the limiting belief, I try to stay away from them, but I would say is just how much money you can raise, right? And it's a difficult situation because, the operator's counting on you to deliver, right? So if you're telling them, hey, I'm going to bring in $1 million or $2 million, and that's the reason why they're allowing you to come into their deal, right? Because they've done pretty much everything. They really set it up perfectly for you, right? They found the mismanaged property. They're going to be operating it. They're the ones that are going to be renovating it, running the whole operation, and they're allowing you to take part in this. And not only that, they're going to give you a better deal than they really would give them to themselves or to their own investors, because you're supposedly bringing in a large sum of money. Well, there's pressure there. And so I think, that can mess with you mentally, but, you just go through it and you just realize, okay, really the sky's the limit. The more people you talk to, the more the more people are going to understand it. And the reality is that people are looking for these type of opportunities. And once you really take it like that, like you switch it around, you're not asking them for money for your fund, right? It's more of, hey, I'm bringing you an opportunity. I'm giving you an exclusive opportunity to invest in here. That's when your mind switches, and that's when you're able to raise a lot more money. That's for sure.
Oh, it certainly is for sure. And I take my own, I've had some of my own capital in a retirement account sitting idle. I'm embarrassed to say it even on this show, but I try not to hold any cards too close to the vest. I mean, it's been sitting there for like 8 months, right? And I've had deal after deal after deal come across my desk. And I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do that. If I'm sitting in that position with money sitting in an account doing absolutely nothing, there's other investors out there in the same position that are just waiting. And I think what you said there was really key. So the more people you talk to, there was a call I was on here recently with someone there, and they said something to the effect of, well, I sent the deal out and I just didn't get any feedback on it. I said, well, did you pick up the phone and call everybody? Did you dial their number on your not send a text? Did you call them? No, I haven't done that yet. I'm like, right. And so the guy that called me yesterday was like, hey, and it's a friend of mine, you probably know him here in the business as well. And they said, hey, I got an opportunity. And I said, great, done. Oh, good. You can meet my need to place capital, and we're on the phone and we're getting this deal done. And that's what I think they just don't realize that I think on the capital raiser side of things that we've got to be proactive in those outreaches. So I love what you said there. The more people talk to.
Yeah, I think it's very few people have it down packed where they're just, you're going to have people calling you and saying, hey, can you get me into a fund, right? I think people get confused, and no matter what, even if you have the coolest website, the best articles out there, most people, I'm not going to say everyone, and everyone structures their business differently, but definitely we have noticed, at least for ours, definitely, everything matters. So, you have to have the good articles, you have to have a good website. Yeah, you have to have all those things. But at the end of the day, you got to call people and let them know, even if you sent them an email, hey, did you receive that email? I have an opportunity now. I don't know if it's going to last. We are getting reserves coming in. And just that simple call, because these guys are busy, so maybe even if they meant to look at your email and they want to invest with you and everything, that doesn't mean that they're going to definitely get to that. So by you calling them, even if they don't say yes on the phone right there, it at least puts an added, I guess, not pressure on them, but an added reminder for them to actually go and do what's best for them, which is to look at your opportunity and invest with you,
You said it, man. You said it. One of the things that I saw there in your bio was that you have your CCIM designation. Tell me really quickly. I know I've had one other guest. I don't know what this will be, 670 episodes, some odd by the time you come on here. But I had one other guest, I think, that I can remember talk about that. Tell me why you did it, and then what the advantages are to you personally for having that.
Well, it is a global standard for professionalism in commercial real estate. I always try to reach the top of whatever I do. So I do believe in getting highly educated in anything I do. So that was the main goal. It was just a challenge that I put to myself. And I said if I was going to do it, I was going to have my wife do it as well. So I challenged her as well. So we were able to do it together, which was great. But I mentioned to some people, you said that not too many people that you've had on the show had it, and that's because only 6% of the world real estate professionals have it, right? So it's very unique, cream of the crop type of people that you get to network with it. So I went in there for the education, but the value really was meeting all these other top quality real estate investors and commercial real estate professionals that made me really stick around and stay with it and say, hey, you know what, this is something valuable to get. Now, I don't think that everyone should go out there and get it, but I do think that everyone should at least take the CCIM 101 course and at least dive into it, because just that one little course there's 4 main courses, will teach you so much more than what you think you already know. And it does take that education to another level.
That's really, really cool. Last question for you. You've recently written a book. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So it's called The 4 Pillars of Real Estate. Feel free to get it. It's on Amazon and on my website, pillarsofrealestate.com. It's also available right now for free. But yeah, it was a process. It was something that I've always wanted to do. Like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. And it's something that I wanted just to get out so that people can understand why they should be investing in real estate. I'm not telling people to invest in real estate just because I'm a real estate broker or I'm raising, money for my funds. There is true value of why that there's so many millionaires, that got there because they invest in real estate. And I basically break it down into 4 main reasons of why someone should be investing in real estate.
Man, that's really cool. Ariel, thank you for taking the time to come on the show today. There's been lots of fun learning from a residential broker all the way to opening your own commercial brokerage into then investing in multifamily assets, starting a fund. You've given us lots of things to think about, even taking the 101 CCIM course. I think that's absolutely fantastic. And we'll also look for your book there on Amazon and make sure we link to that in the show notes. If our listeners want to get in touch with you and learn more about you, what is the best way to do that?
Just go to the website, www.pillarsofrealestate.com. And if you want free training, you could go to the website, www.pillarsofrealestate.com/invest.
Fantastic. Ariel, thank you again for coming on the show today. I certainly appreciate it.
It was awesome. Thank you, Sam.